Hello, peoples and space aliens that watch my show. I'll drop it now. I found this cool watch among some space debris outside, and that moment really reminded me of a 2005 cartoon from my childhood. Ben 10. And you thought I was done talking about Ben 10 after the transformation videos? Now referred to as Ben 10 Classic due to its reboot sharing the same name and premise of the original, it was a summer vacation action adventure sci-fi following the main protagonist, Benjamin Tennyson. He's a 10-year-old kid who has a hero mentality deep down in that annoying 10-year-old spite-filled body, but he's excited to go on summer vacation because he's joining his grandpa Max in a cross-country road trip in his RV called the Rust Bucket. As a kid, I never realized how much I liked Grandpa Max. He's a great role model in fiction, and I'm always salty about the reboot. But conflict immediately hits when there's a third on this road trip, Ben's cousin, Gwen Tennyson. She's the smart one out of the duo. We'll talk about Max later. And that's not a diss at Max! But Gwen explains that she didn't decide this, but apparently Max did. Max just wanted to have a bonding summer with his 2 grandchildren. Must be easy. I'm one of the 2 youngest grandchildren. Great-grandchildren's another story. This is going to be a hard ranking. But they head out and arrive at the campground. Now you may be asking, Justin, where's the sci-fi? Well, I'll tell you. During the events on Earth, a big ship chased a small ship. Very exciting, I know. This is the big baddie Vilgax. At this moment, we only know he's after this ship for the Omnitrix. Must be a next-gen game or something. He gets smoked and the little ship launches the Omnitrix to Earth. Back at the campground, Grandpa Max is preparing bugs to eat, and Ben decides he wants to go for a walk. As he walks, history is made when he looks up and says, "A shooting a shooting star. Whoa, a shooting star." And you know what happens next. Sing it with me. You started with an alien device. What it did. Ben gets the Omnitrix, a watch device that bonds itself to his wrist with no way of removal, to our knowledge. Yeah, you're fucked. It turns out this watch can turn you into different aliens. Obviously, it took a bit for Ben to learn since he started a forest fire with the Human Torch. This is Heat Blast, the first alien we meet, voiced by Spike Spiegel, aka Steve Bloom. Future Justin here. I actually realized I never wrote anything about later on for Max, so I thought I'd throw it in here. Max is actually the first person to confirm to us that this is in fact an alien, because secretly he's part of the plumbers, which his family thought was, piping in that, but in actuality it was a secret government project about aliens, and he was one of the best. He was the best of the best, and that's where the Omnitrix was actually getting sent to. Ben just got in the middle. Anyways, let's get back to Heat Blast. But we don't spend much time with Heat Blast. Honestly, now that I've rewatched it, we spend little time with any aliens. But I see that as a positive. The first episode achieves what it needs to do to grab an audience. Introduce characters, introduce setting, and introduce the concept. We met the protagonists. We learn it's a summer road trip. We learn genetic modification is a thing to become a hero. Also, as a quick side note, I'm only going over the first episode this deeply because each episode kind of follows the same structure as the first episode. Alien threat, fight, win. Ben learns a lesson along the way. The rest of the show does a good job of using the Omnitrix by giving it quirks, like giving Ben the wrong alien. Ben's in a desert? Well, do something with Ripjaw's, an aquatic-based alien. Makes Ben outsmart his enemies by improvising with wrong aliens. For example, the Kraken. The Kraken attacks a dock that Gwen and innocent people are at. Ben could have used Ripjaws, because he's a fish, but the watch gave him Accelerate, a velociraptor. These aren't the same. But this helps Ben learn Accelerate is fast enough to run on water. And he didn't need people to do the math, Barry. The show also gives us characters that will span to the other series. Kevin Levin, Vilgax, Azimuth, Tetrax, Dr. Animo, Hex, Charmcaster. All of these characters show up all over the series after the classic. I want to just also mention one villain that appears. I want to do a whole video on him, Ghost Freak. But I wanted to mention him so you don't comment that I missed him. But Ben 10 Classic was a really great show. I wish the reboot gave it a little more respect. It does here and there, but I wish it got a tiny bit. But we have 4 more series to cover, and I just don't know when I'll be getting to them. So, just so you know, I'm going to be covering them. But now I'm curious as to what's on my Omnitrix. Aw, I hate teddies.